Hey YouTubers, this is your boy Amari Points here, bringing you the latest movie review. So today I'm doing my latest movie review on a movie called NightSweats, which is based on a true story. It's basically about this young man named Yuri, whose friend died from poisoning. It's kind of like mad cow disease and everything. So yeah, I actually rented this movie last night, and I actually enjoyed it. I loved how it was just based off a true story and everything. Also, it was a good way of saying you have to be careful on what you do and who you do it with. And the actors that played Yuri and MK, they were phenomenal. At first, I kind of wasn't really invested in it at the beginning, but as the movie progressed, I was kind of getting really invested in how the story was progressing. Also, yeah, it was just crazy and messed up. They had some comedy scenes in here that I kind of did enjoy, but somewhat not enjoyed. It was still an interesting movie that I really was definitely invested in, and I loved how it was just trying to show the world what happens when you take drugs and all that. If you honestly don't be careful on what you do, it's kind of going to take a toll on your life. And the actress that played MK, who kind of had the disease, but she didn't know she was carrying it. She didn't know she was carrying MK didn't know she was carrying the disease. She was just shocked when Yuri told her. And also, the rest of the actors in this movie were phenomenal. I was definitely invested in it. I was definitely invested in it, and it was definitely I had to look away a couple of times because it was kind of shocking to me and a bit scary from time to time, but it was still a suspenseful movie that I really honestly didn't think I was going to be invested in, no lie. And the producer, Jason Abrams, who was also in this movie, he was playing one of the doctors named Charles Herbert. Jason, if you watch this, buddy, amazing job producing and acting into this, but you kind of didn't tell me it was going to be scary. It was not. You didn't tell me it was going to be scary, though. I'm messing with you. Jay. But amazing job doing this. You and the rest of the cast were great. I can't remember all of the cast members' names because it was kind of like a blur. I kind of didn't pay no attention. But I did love the New York City setting. It was definitely great. That they put the setting in New York, because, again, New York is kind of like my second favorite city, of course. And let me tell you what else, that everyone who was in this movie was very invested in their roles, and somewhat kind of not. Some of the actors weren't definitely kind of invested in their roles because it seemed like they really weren't into it. It could have been better if they kind of been more dramatic and more invested, because movies these days, they definitely need actors that are invested in their roles and many more, because if they honestly were invested in their roles, this movie would have been a whole lot more better. But it still was. It was somewhat good. It was definitely somewhat good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how it was based off a true story, like what happened about the events that happened in 2017. Because because, well, it's a good thing like this stuff didn't spread in throughout the whole globe, because that would have been kind of messed up way worse than the coronavirus. That's for sure. It really would have been messed up. But again, all in all, definitely a movie you want to check out if you're definitely interested in like suspenseful movies and all that. But honestly, but still, if you're not, then this movie is definitely not for you. And that's it for my rant. On to the positives and negatives. First off, the positives. Well, I got a couple. The producer, Jason Abrams, was definitely spot on with this movie. He definitely made sure like the people and everyone wanted to make sure like what happened during that time, during like the time this virus almost spread. He definitely captured all the moments and everything in this story, which kudos to him for doing that, because I think a lot of people should know like what happened during that time, because if it did spread, I know it would have been way worse than the coronavirus. Another thing, the actors themselves, they were somewhat good, but still they were still good. Sorry, they were still good. They made sure to play their roles perfectly. Made sure to be honest and well invested, well invested in their roles. Because if they weren't, then this movie would have been blown, definitely. And again, another positive is the setting, New York City, best city, which is definitely the perfect place to film a movie like that. For sure, it is. And when you film a movie like this, you have to make sure it's the perfect place to film, especially if it's in New York. One negative is that the movie kind of like was a bit slow. This is the only negative I had. It started off slow at the beginning of the movie. But again, it did pick up. So yeah, that's the only problem I had with it. It was kind of slow at the beginning, and it could have been better if it was more fast paced and everything. That would have been really amazing if they did that, for sure. If they made it more fast, like at the beginning of the movie, that would have been fine with me. Still a little something they probably should have worked on, in my opinion. And that's it for my positives and negatives. On to the rating. Oh, sorry guys. I give Night Sweat the movie a solid B. Just a normal B. Because it was still a good movie. I loved how like they explained this crazy disease that happened in 2017 and they stopped it from spreading. Also, the actors and everything were very invested in their roles and much more. I was actually surprised when I watched it. It had a few laughs here and there, but all in all, it was still a serious movie that everyone was pretty spot on with. And I'm grateful that this disease didn't spread in 2017, because again, it would have sucked. It would have been way worse than coronavirus. And the producer, Jason Abrams, he really made sure this movie was going to be phenomenal and made sure that, well, we were going to get this really interesting movie and talk about this disease that no one else knows about. And kudos to him for explaining this and everything. Good job, buddy. And keep up the great work with all your future movies. And many more. And that's it for my movie review, guys. Don't forget to like, comment down below on what you thought of it, subscribe, and share with everyone you know. Press the little notification bell at the bottom of my video to get notified when my next movie review is going to be. And be sure to follow me on the Stardust app at Amari106 for my latest movie/trailer reaction. I will see you guys soon. Take care, and God bless. Peace!